I'm back to talk a little bit with you about humility and dignity. This is a pretty cool concept that I think can be applied to so many situations. It's a really good framework to both view the world, view the people around you, and kind of have a little bit more compassion for them, but also to kind of check out how I'm doing here. How am I showing up in a situation? So humility and dignity, these are words that you probably know. Humility is owning that I don't know everything, whereas dignity is revealing, actually, I do know things. I'm not totally inept, I know things. The cool thing about humility and dignity is that you can never have too much of one or too much of the other. Let that sink in. But it is possible to have a lack of one or of the other, and that's where we can run into trouble. So here's an example of a teacher, let's say. My favorite teachers have a really nice balance of humility and dignity. And that's kind of where I think as exceptional human beings we want to be. It's kind of balanced somewhere in the middle. So if I think about those teachers, they were people, and they are people who both know something. They have something to offer. They have something to teach me, and they know that. But they're also still students. They also know that they don't know everything, and they're still willing to learn. Even from their own students, they're kind of taking in new ideas all the time. Like I said, there can be a lack of one or the other, and that's where we can run into problems. Problems? I don't know what a problem is, but that's where some challenges can arise, let's say. If I don't have any dignity, if I'm all humility, what that means is I am collapsed. I'm kind of deflated. I'm really sorry all the time. I'm almost sorry for my existence. That's collapse. If I have no humility, but all dignity, that leaves me posturing. I'm postured. I'm kind of puffing up. I kind of believe that I can't be wrong. Everybody else is wrong. I'm only ever right. It leaves me in this place of almost like I'm too big for my britches. So usually people have a tendency where in challenge, they either more often posture or they more often collapse. So here's an example of a shopkeeper, let's say, who is working at the register, and a really frustrated customer comes back in. There was something wrong with the product that they just bought. And if the shopkeeper's go-to is to collapse, they might say something like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, let me give you a full refund. I don't know how this happened. I'm sorry," like that. Whereas if the shopkeeper is posturing, they might say "Nothing's wrong with this. I'm not giving you a refund. Please leave." Neither one of those are that great. Somewhere in the middle might be something like, "Cool, let's have a conversation. When did you buy it? Was it broken when you took it out of the box, or had you used it? Oh, it was broken when you took it out of the box. Cool, let me give you a refund," or whatever it is. It's just an example, but I hope that it's starting to show you a little bit the difference and how this can be really useful. I recently was in a moment where one of my mentors said something to me that had me collapse, had me deflate. And in that moment, I got to notice, whoa, I'm collapsed right now. And then I had a choice where I could stay like that, or I could notice, hey, I'm collapsing right now. Okay, she had some feedback for me. It was a little challenging to hear, but I'm not worthless, and I can still offer my gifts here. Ultimately, finding a better balance between humility and dignity will lead to more healthy relationship with yourself and probably with the other people in your life. I also talked about this in one of my most recent Wabi magazine articles. I talked about sleeping and how I have difficulty sleeping in the same bed as someone. I'm a very light sleeper, and how I used humility and dignity to have a conversation around this, a challenging conversation around this. And it was a real exercise for me to not collapse and not posture, but actually find that balance of humility and dignity. So I will link to that below. If you have comments or questions, you want to talk more about humility and dignity, go ahead and leave it in the comment section. I look forward to hearing from you.